Welcome Cardomancers, back today with the review of the Secret Mirror Tarot. So as usual, I have worked with this deck actually for a few weeks and I'm going to be talking to you about it. This is crowdfunding right now for the color version. I have the 3-color version. The cards are the same, so it's going to read the same. Maybe a little bit more fun because it'll be in full color. I do have a couple of the color cards to show you. And of course, if you're interested in getting this, links are down below in the description. So I'm going to tell you about how this reads. So I'm going to start out by just showing you the basics of it. I have a lot of pairings to go with this, a lot. So I'm going to go through lightning quick on those pairings because I think I have 5 Oracle and 5 Tarot to show you that I think go great with this deck. And then at the end, I'm going to give you my personal opinion on how I feel this reads and what I used it for and what my personal opinion of this deck is. So stick around and we'll jump right into it. But before we do, I just want to invite you to sign up for my newsletter down below because I will be beginning different tarot courses starting in September and all throughout the year. I'm also putting together a witches magical group. So if you're interested in any of that, get into my newsletter so that you can be informed of it. Let's do this. The Secret Mirror Tarot does not have a creator name. I will be referring to them as they because I do not know. You can see the box here. It's a really nice hard box. It's lovely. I love the font that they chose. It opens really nicely. You know, like sometimes you get them and they're super tight. Opens really nicely. These are the color cards right here that I have, the color samples that I have. Really, really lovely. The coloration, it's nice coloration, but it's not too highly saturated for some of those of you that don't like a really bright tarot. I think you'll find the colors are bright, but not overly saturated. And so they're very enjoyable. And so let's get into some of the other cards. First of all, here are the backs. And I think they're really nice. They're really fun. Cardstock. As you know, I don't riffle shuffle, so I can't tell you about that, but they shuffle really nicely. I do have larger hands, but I feel like this is a regular size tarot deck. And I really felt like it was easy to use. Okay, so here you can see that this is the non-color version, but you can see some of the cards as I go along and just kind of talk to you a little bit about it. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone-esque because you'll see that it's not exactly the same. This is actually a card that I really like in this deck, and I like her face. I sort of like the way she's looking at the cups like, I'm just so not into that. I feel like there's a lot of things in this deck that are just a little bit different that spruce the cards up. So like I said, this is not an exact Rider-Waite clone, but you will see that it's very, very similar. And in this black and white and red version, I believe she's trying to find a place to sell this. However, right now the color version is crowdfunding, and you can find the link down below. I enjoyed the court cards on this. I think they're really nice. And just the pop of color, you can see how it really shows. There's a lot of detail. The line work on here is lovely. You know, look at this. This 6 of Cups is just really pretty. The 5 of Wands. So I'm going to go into the pairings now so that I can show you some of the pairings that I used. And then again, at the end, I'm going to tell you my personal opinion, how I use this. And I'm going to share some of my favorite cards from this deck with you as well. I didn't include the book, so I thought I would do that really quick. This is just a standard little white book. There's nothing incredibly fabulous about this. It's your standard keywords, and it's got the upright and reversed in it. It does have the pictures in it. But yeah, this isn't like they wrote about the cards themselves. So just a standard book, but you do get a book in here. All right. Deck number 1, let's start with tarot, and I chose the This Might Hurt tarot. Whoops, some of you probably have this. This is an older deck. It is still available. And I feel as though the colors in here are going to be nicely congruent with the new color deck. But also I found that this pop of color felt really good to me when reading with this deck. And this is such an easy reader. So using the two of these together felt like they were just very congruent and worked really well. I also feel like the This Might Hurt tarot has some fun takes on the cards. So if you do have this and you're using the book, then you have that to your advantage. The This Might Hurt tarot by Isabella Rotman. Let's do an oracle. You probably haven't seen one in a while, by Colette Baron Reid, the Wisdom of Oracle. This one was really old, and this is an oracle deck that I have given to many a teen. It's an easy reader, but one of the things that I find is that they're just kind of quirky cards that went well with this tarot, because this tarot is a little quirky itself. The illustration styles are not congruent, but that's okay. They don't have to be matchy-matchy. This isn't a matchy-matchy. For me, this is quirky meets quirky. So if you're looking for something to kind of complement the quirky style of this deck, then I think Colette Baron Reid's Wisdom of the Oracle deck can be really fun. I'm just going to pull some of these out to kind of show you. These are great as a jumping off point. So as like maybe even a foundation card, you could start out with this, like, what foundation do I want to build on? If you haven't seen my Ideas for Oracles series, check that out. But you could use this as a foundation card, pull one of these, and then say, okay, Treasure Island, and then expound on it by reading with the Secret Mirror Tarot and kind of getting the messages that go along with that. So that's just one of the ways. And of course, there's a big book that Colette has on this as well. Next up in the, let's do a tarot. In the tarot is the Intuitive Night Tarot. I have the Artist's Edition here. So the Intuitive Night Tarot, this to me is the colors. The color schemes on this really go together really nicely. And I feel like both of these are kind of evocative. So again, there's that color card in there. Both of these are evocative tarots. And so using them together and bringing in this goddess energy, the book on this and the Intuitive Night Tarot is a great book as well. So if you're feeling like you're not getting enough because maybe you're not as seasoned a reader, then having the book that tells you a little bit more about what the cards mean, you could even use that in here. You could just use it for the deck, the Secret Mirror Tarot as well. So the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot. And look, just the colors, like the golds in here, the colors really match. The dark black backgrounds are really fun. And again, like I said, you can really use the book on the Intuitive Night Goddess with the Secret Mirror Tarot to kind of get you through if you need that. Next up on the list in the Oracle realm is the Moonology Oracle by Yasmin Boland. So I do think that this is the Secret Mirror Tarot is busier, more ornate, not really busy, but ornate. And so having something really simple is kind of nice. And so these Moonology cards, these are so old. I don't even know how old they are, but they're really old. And I find that if you're into astrology and you wanted to add something to your reading, this could be your wink card, like your wink from the universe at the very end of your reading. You could pull one of these, or you could start with one of these and use them as a foundation card and then build on that with the reading and kind of have it fleshed out by the Secret Mirror Tarot. Again, the Moonology Oracle by Yasmin Boland. Next up in the tarot realm, if you want to go deep and get really into symbolism, get really ornate, then you can use this, which is, who is this actually by? Godford Dowson, the Hermetic Tarot. And I feel like, there's the backs. You can see, very matchy-matchy, but super intense. If you really want to get into symbolism and look through and get really deep and find yourself kind of going down rabbit holes, then this is actually the relaxing deck to use. And the Hermetic Tarot kind of brings you into place of maybe where you want to study and you want to, go deeply into the symbolism of the cards and see how these symbols are playing off the traditional Rider-Waite and, dive deep into that. Again, I feel like they're kind of congruent, almost matchy-matchy in a way, but this is actually tamer than the Hermetic Tarot. So I think that's my third tarot choice. Next up is an oracle that's called a tarot but is not, which is the Morgan's Tarot. And this is just, let's see. Yeah, Morgan Robbins and Darshan Kroposh. This is so funky and fun. If you don't have this oracle, this is a great little deck. That just, it's just odd. Here's the backs. They're hand drawn. So you could use this at the end as your superpower card, even if you wanted. Be careful going around curves. I just find that these are so weird, like heavy. The one mind is rootless and foundationless mind, So I think the two of these play off one another really well. I feel like this adds some levity to whatever your reading is and just kind of brings you into a place where your mind can go in a completely different direction. And sometimes it's kind of fun to do that. This is an odd one, and I haven't highlighted Morgan's Tarot in a long time, but it's worthy. It's just fun, and it can make any reading a little bit lighter than maybe it was feeling because there is so much that's playful about Morgan's Tarot. All right. Next up, probably haven't seen this one in a while, and I think this is going to be great for the color version of the Secret Mirror Tarot. So I'm just going to put this up there like that for you and pull this out. This is the Morgan Greer Tarot. Who's the Morgan Greer Tarot by? Bill Greer. Okay. An oldie but a goodie. I find that the Morgan Greer Tarot is really quite visceral. It doesn't pull any punches, even though it is, okay, so look at this. We have the star and the star next to each other right here. And I like that they're sort of mirror images, and this is the Secret Mirror Tarot. I love that this is a mirror image, but you can see the differences here. I feel like there's something really raw about the Morgan Greer Tarot that every time I read with this tarot, it's very direct. So if you're looking for a really direct read, I might even use this to complement or even pull out the same cards and place them next to them to see if you get a little bit different of an idea on how this reading is playing out for you. Okay, so that's the Morgan Greer Tarot. So easy to get anywhere. Next up on the list is the Urban Crow Oracle. Okay. Now we're getting into the contrast. So I've said this before. This is the Urban Crow Oracle by M.J. Cullinan. Oh, those are last. Her books are always amazing, by the way. Here's the last card I got in here, which was Wrath. How fun is that? So here are the backs. I think that the colors in here will be good. You can see that there'll be a contrast. This is a darker tarot, meaning it's got a darker vibe. I think that these two go well together because sometimes we need a contrasting energy. I think that the Urban Crow Oracle is excellent for working on wounding, for working on shadows, and for working on things that are just maybe uncomfortable to look at, or just heavier situations. Like sometimes when I'm in a heavy mood, I need to have a deck that feels a little bit heavier so that I can navigate those feelings by having something that is mirroring those feelings. So yeah, I think that this is the Urban Crow Oracle is a great one for doing that kind of work. And that's by MJ Cullinan. Next, I highlighted this last week, and I'm highlighting it again because I do think that these go together. The Anatomy of Healing Tarot by Fran Ciesler. Okay, so here it is. I think that with the color version, this is going to be even better because these go really nicely together. As you can see, this is like almost like a gold in there. But the line drawings on this are so beautiful to go with these line drawings. And I love the fact that these target areas of the body. The purpose of this deck, the purpose of the Anatomy of Healing deck is really to bring you into a place of healing. And I don't know that I said it enough in the video review, which you can look up. It was like last week's video. But this deck really does bring you into a place of healing because it brings you back to your body. And we really need to be present with ourselves if we're going to do the work that we need to do to heal ourselves. And so I feel like this deck is wonderful because it's got a congruent artistic style to it. They're not the same, but the line drawings really go well together. And when I'm doing healing work, I don't want anything jarring. I want there to be congruency in my decks. Maybe you're different. My last deck that I'm going to highlight for you is a contrasting deck. It is a deck that is made to gut it up, to really gut it up. And I think it goes particularly well with this version of the Secret Mirror. It's the Murder Crows Tarot. If you don't have this deck, I've been trying to put this back in order, so we'll see how well it is. I don't want to get it out of order because I've been working so hard on it. Okay. You can see this deck is intense. This is not like a friendly, oh, you're my super little friend, let's just play together. Nope, this is for really strong messages. I mean, look at these two together, the Tower. I mean, yeah, this is the Empress. She doesn't look as friendly as in other decks. So I chose the Murder Crows Tarot because I feel like sometimes we need something that's really dark, that really shakes us and brings us a message that we're needing to hear. I mean, look at this together. The Ten of Swords. Wow. With the Chariot here is just like really powerful. Yeah, I mean, think about that message, just the momentum of that kind of death in your life and what it's bringing to you that's new. So that I feel like these together really pack a punch and can bring you into a place of really figuring out just what you need to look at, just what you need to be really honest about. So now for my personal opinion. When the creator of this deck reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to review this. Now, mind you, I look at a deck before I agree to review it. I don't just take decks to take them. I have to know that I'm going to click somewhat with it. I don't want to get a deck that I know I'm not going to click with and then not like it because I have to be honest with you. Honestly, I just can't lie. I didn't think I would like this deck as much as I do. I mean, I knew I'd like it, but I really like it. I really, really found this deck to be an incredibly clear reader. And I found myself coming back to it, and it's been in my purse actually. The box on it is really nice and strong, so it's like perfect for my purse. I'm getting ready to go to Oregon Country Fair, and I do free readings out there. And I'll actually, maybe next month I'll put up some pictures of me in my new tarot outfit that I have. But I will be taking this deck to do free readings with because I think the colors pop. It's just the right amount. In this version, I think choosing these two primary colors was great. And this is such a clear reader. So I'm going to show you some of my favorite cards and that I feel kind of do something fun with this deck and sort of bring it to a new place. And I'll show you the 2 color cards that I have again with this in case you're interested in buying it. Again, down below are the links to do that. Okay, I thought I pressed record, but I didn't. Here are the color cards. I wanted to show you them again because I feel like the coloration on these is wonderful. It's lovely choice of the palette. It's just a little bit muted, a little bit softer. I love the use of white space. Here's the Magician, which is a great card in here. These are two of my favorite cards in the deck themselves. The Lemniscape, roses growing on what look like trees. That's kind of fun. So you've got the typical nod to the lilies down here, and you can see all the different elements. I like how she's winking at you and she's got the as above, so below, just as she does in each one. One of the things that this deck does is it really shines in the faces. So here in this star card, her face really says, I am so feeling myself. I feel so good about myself, so relaxed in who I am. And I'm just out here bringing it all. And so again, just really great. The Empress here, actually, let's pull this one out. The Empress here, again, the face here is so great. She kind of says, I am soft and pretty and relaxed. Everything just comes to me because I am that divine goddess. I love the wheat in the foreground here. I love her shield right up front. So it's got all of the typical little nods to the card. And I especially love the diadem of stars up there. Another favorite card is this 10 of Wands. And I feel like this is sorry about my puppy, you guys, that he is such a barker. It's driving me crazy, honestly. He's 7 months old and he's suddenly gotten so naughty. 10 of Wands. I love this. Let me just go off on this card for a minute. I thought this was very clever. First of all, she's almost like a nun. So it's like this is a religious act, like something that we keep doing. And I find that that is a part of the 10 of Wands. Something that we just keep doing, even though maybe we just haven't examined it. And that's usually what happens when I get to a 10 of Wands moment. I need to examine what the heck I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And it just becomes this rote religious thing that I'm doing without thinking. I love her face. It's just so tired and sad. It really is. It's a great card. I wanted to highlight the Queen of Swords because it's different. And there are some things in this deck, like this face and the butterfly crown on her. They cause me to think about the cards just a little differently. There's enough comfort for me as a Rider-Waite-Smith reader. But then these little nods that come in where I think, I really like that. It just makes me think a little bit more. 7 of Cups. I love this. Here she is. She's sitting and drinking alone while daydreaming about this. And so I feel like the 7 of Cups, when it comes up for me, is very much about looking for something outside of myself. And it's kind of destructive. And drinking alone is definitely destructive. So I appreciated this one. Another Cups one here. If you've watched my channel at all, you know that I love the 5s. The 5s are choice point cards where we are at a point where we need to really make a choice in what direction we're going to go. And I did enjoy the 5s a lot in this deck. Here we have the 5 of Cups. And I love this. It's almost like there's a level of detachment where she is almost disassociating. She's just kind of detached and disassociated to the point where she's not in touch with this reality of what is being offered to her. So again, the face here is really great. Here is my all-time favorite in the whole deck. Just as my dog is going crazy, I have to stop him. Hold on. Okay, that may or may not work. Favorite card in the whole deck. The 5 of Wands. Oh my goodness. Look at this guy. This is hilarious. All these dudes in their top hats, all dressed up with their canes going at it. I think this is such a fun version of this. The 5 of Wands is the easiest 5 of all. It's the most playful of the 5s. And I really feel like you you can actually laugh when you look at this card. And I feel like that's something that we should do when we get the Five of Wands. We should realize that we are playing with a situation at the moment. And through that play, we get to a place where we can decide to do something else. Lastly, I just want to highlight the star again side by side so you can see the color version, which is now funding. It's now available. One of the things that's great about this, I don't have any problems reading the font on here. I know that some of you too out there struggle with reading fonts. My eyes just aren't what they used to be. But you can see how she's stepped up from this version to this version. And in all of the gold and red and black is maintained. We've just added the greens and blues here. They are trying to find a way to market the black and white again because it's already funded once. I think I'm going to suggest to them that maybe they offer it as an add-on in their crowdfunding if you wanted to get both decks. I really love this version. This is the Secret Mirror Tarot. I think that it might be something that you really want to add to your collection. I really dig this, and I'm so grateful that they sent it to me. I really appreciate it. You can pick this up right now. It's being crowdfunded again down below. Let me know what you think about this one. If you think you might add it to your collection, what you think of the drawing style. I really enjoyed it, and I will continue to enjoy it. Until we meet again, may you find the perfect deck for the day that you are having.